Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show, obviously episode 308. And in this one, we will be talking about the annoying, frustrating draw. Is the home form finally capitulated? I don't know. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Obviously, the away form is dreadful, as we know. And obviously, we'll be talking about the big game tomorrow. That's the biggest game of the season. You know, no question about that. If we don't win that, like I've said on Saturday, obviously I didn't do my own reaction, but I said it in the ones with Mike, Daz. Great to see them as well, by the way, especially Daz travelling from Belgium. If we don't win that, the season's well and truly done. You know, I'm going to be honest, guys, like everyone in the chat probably, I'm not going to be looking forward to watching any games, to be quite honest with you, if we don't win tomorrow. So that's our only hope at success come the end of the season. If we can obviously win tomorrow, I think we got a favourable semi-final. And then you're obviously at Wembley where we got a good record. So there would be confidence, but we're playing a very good informed Plymouth side who are going to go strong as well. But obviously we'll get into that. But yeah, Dad, how have you been since Saturday?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad.
Good. Good to see everyone in the chat. A lot of comments, so we might as well get into them before we get into the game. Paul says, evening, lads. Good to see you in here, mate. Jackie, good to see you as well. Obviously, my dad's first time seeing you on Saturday as well, which is good. Hi, Ty and Daz. Hello. Hope you are well. What other comments have we got? Big up to Harry. Obviously, had a fan cam. He says, and obviously see us before the game, Dad. Says, evening, lads. Hope you're both well. Best weekend of my life, personally. Just boarded a train back home from London, Euston. What an away day. Fabio to the rescue. Yeah, it was a great goal. Well, we could have avoided it, but yeah, great point for you guys. You know, you probably deserved it based on the second half, to be quite honest here. But yeah, good point, man. Good point, and hopefully it helps you guys stay up towards the end of the season. Daz is in the chat. Obviously, add him on a fan cam. It was good to have him on a fan cam. Hopefully, it makes us obviously talk about all the drama after the game. Maybe it can be the turning point, like when that bloke had a go at Ronnie Henry. He says. Yeah, I mean, there is that possibility because I do think if we lose to, like, obviously there's a high possibility we lose tomorrow. A lot of us think that. Let's just be honest, right? Let's say how we feel. And then, you know, you lose to Port Vale. I mean, they're inevitably going to go down anyway. But like you lose to them, for example, I mean, yeah, there's proper pressure, to be quite honest. And then the game after that is, well, the Doncaster game got moved. So I can't remember exactly when it is. So it might be like the Reading home game possibly. And I mean, we've obviously dropped points this weekend. You know, that game, I mean, with the form Reading, well, it's more so Marriott in it right now. You know, you wouldn't be confident in that game either. So, yeah, it definitely. But then I think if we did progress tomorrow, I'm pretty sure the semi-final is like Wednesday next week. You know, or something like that. So it's yeah, because obviously all the saga with the Swindon game, they've had to do it like, you know, straight away sort of thing. But anyway, the game, Saturday, obviously against Burton. Now, going into it, I actually said a draw. We both expected close games. Obviously, you did go with a narrow win for us, Dad. I mean, in terms of the lineup, obviously, we did expect the one up front, being at home, you know, sort of sticking with what has worked. Maybe not some players that are rested, but then there is that one eye on the game tomorrow. So obviously, we had Keeley in goal. Jones right back, which we said, Dad, you know, it was good to see him there because, you know, I know we've got Hakeem coming back. So like I've said, just let's see it. You know, let's see what he can do there. I actually thought he had a decent game. Few moments, you know, maybe when he tried to go for a slide tackle at one point in the second half, you know, missed. But other than that, he's pretty decent, to be fair. Anderson and Naismith, I mean, that was a bit of a shock in terms of like maybe Mengi not in the centre back with, Anderson. And then Johnson started, come back in, expect that, especially the fact he was fully rested. Saville in his own role, that was good to see. I mean, I wouldn't really expect to see it at the home games, I'll be honest, more so the away games. And we could have done with that on Wednesday, to be quite honest, yeah. Morris started, good to see. You know, his last start, very good, like I've said. Kadoa on the left, expected. Again, obviously, he come on the other day, didn't start. Palmer and Clark, so I think this was our first proper time since his early stages, seeing Palmer higher up. Obviously, with Clark. And then Wells was up front. I mean, again, maybe, you know, you look at for me, I looked at Wells and Mengi in particular, and I thought, okay, especially Mengi, he's being rested for, obviously the game tomorrow, and then obviously our strikers, like Cole, even El Hamadi, who wasn't in the squad, I think they're also rested for tomorrow in terms of not starting. And then as for the bench, we had Cole, we had Lawrence, we had Longwick. It was quite weird to see Longwick on the bench in a way. Mengi, Richards, Shea, and Van den Berg. So I mean, looking at that, I didn't mind the formation. I'll be honest, as you guys would have seen on Harry's vlog, if you've watched it, I was a bit skeptical of Naismith and Anderson together. But to be honest, I actually thought they'd done all right. Now, I know obviously Naismith had the stuff at the end, which we obviously have to get into. But in terms of the performance on the pitch, I don't actually think he was too bad. And I thought Anderson was doing what he'd done a lot throughout this season when he has played well and was pretty good aerially. He man-marked, their players at points, and I said he had to do that, otherwise they'd have a field day. And aerially was very good again, so I didn't mind that, like in terms of like when the game was going on. But yeah, initially I was a bit worried, and then Wells up front, just given how he's been up front by himself this season. But other than that, didn't mind it, to be honest. How did you feel, Dad, when it come out?
Yeah, on paper, as we've said fucking 100 times, a team should be good enough to get the win. Yeah, it was a draw. We could understand. We knew there'd be a couple of changes as well, because obviously he's taking that Plymouth game seriously, which obviously you should be doing. Win that one game away from Wembley, which after the season we've had, we at least deserve that, and that we really should be pushing for that. It's almost like a cup final itself tomorrow. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I expect a smaller crowd, but yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, it's pretty expected. 4-1-4-1. What we said Jones as well. Be interesting to see where he plays. I think Kadua's not really working on the left at the moment, so I'll be looking to put him back on the right. You could put Jones on the left. I think he can do a job there. And we'll see what happens. I expect Longwick to probably come back in as well, right back personally. I know Hakeem's been talking, but I don't think he'd be rushed straight back in. Possibly he'll be on the bench, but I can't see him just coming back. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, half decent lineup. Good to see the changes. Sometimes that works positively. We've done it when we played Coventry in the cup. We made 11 changes when he lost 1-0, and then they went on some mad run, hammering everyone, and still top of the league now. Who else was it? Someone in the Virtue Trophy. We made a lot of changes.
Is it the Exeter game you're referring to?
And they've done all right. A lot of them players ain't even here now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, I thought the first couple of minutes, I thought Burton was slightly the better team, I've got to be honest. I mean, we were just struggling to get to grips really of the game. But then, shortly after we got into the game a little bit, obviously we got the goal. Wells, you're seeing that, that movement from Johnson through the middle. Obviously, he's done that a lot since the Exeter away game, really. It's been very noticeable, and it eventually pulled off with an assist. And it's a great pass through to Wells. And to be honest, I was pretty confident Wells was going to score. And a lot of, people wouldn't have been, just, how it's been this season, especially in terms of like when our players do have the chances. Like, obviously, we haven't got him anymore. He's out on loan. But Yates, a lot of times in them positions, they would like miss. They'd find a way to miss. But it was a good finish. And I actually thought, you could tell we grew a lot of confidence in the game. There was obviously the moment where their keepers need him in the face. I mean, for me, that was BS. How that was, not even given as a flipping card. You could argue more. But, I think they got the free kick as well. For that, which was crazy. And I did say, that keeper, he has been a little bit suspect for them this season. I mean, Bolton away, he was, for me, like sort of spilled one of the goals. Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln's second goal, maybe. He has been a bit, vulnerable at times. And I felt we could have, tried to exploit that a bit more, if I'm going to be honest. And it was one of them games where we go in at half time, and obviously we're saying to each other, Dad, we think we need another goal. just to reinsure it. And that's sort of how we felt a lot throughout this season anyway. But yeah, I did feel sorry for Wells because there was even moments, not just Wells to be fair, even like Richards when he come on, you know, like their shirts are getting full. I can see it from where I was. Their shirts are probably getting full on filled. And for me, like the ref was shy. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's nothing different. I'm pretty sure we had that ref at a recent game I went to as well. It might have been the Blackpool game, but he was shocking, man. Some of the things he was letting happen. I mean, it was poor. It's absolutely poor. But same old standard. Whatever standard, it doesn't matter. These refs are shocking. But at the same time, we just didn't. We were the better team in the first half overall, but we should have tried to get that next goal for me. And even in the second half, you're thinking, okay, yeah, let's try and do that again. I mean, they're players who I thought would cause a bit more havoc. We actually dealt with them pretty well, I would say. More so Beasley and Shade I'm referring to. But we just didn't try and get that next goal. And that was the problem in the second half. I mean, we go into the second half and, we are thinking they're inevitably going to score. Palmer obviously got a yellow card in the first half, so he obviously come off. Van den Berg, I've got to be honest. I mean, the last, what's that now, 2 games that he's come on, he's tried a little bit too hard. And Daz said that in his fan cam as well. And we said it when we watched the Cardiff game. But there was, what's that, Dad?
It's too casual.
Yeah. There was literally, come on, didn't he? And the pass he done, it was shocking. Just
casual. And what annoys me a little bit is, Nordas, he's not ready. He's not ready for League One football, and this, that, and the other. He wasn't really given a chance in the league games, and when he did, I thought he'd done all right. He learned how to muscle people. He could bring the ball down, and I'd say this guy's not ready for League One football. Do you know what I mean? He's probably got a bit. He looks strong and that, but it's lackadaisical, mate. He's definitely not ready for League One football, English football. I don't really. I want Walsh back as soon as possible. We're missing him massively missing his range of passing, his ideas in the midfield, etc., etc. That's what we're missing. Clark was quite poor, but he's probably just fed up with like I'm always the main guy doing trying to make things happen. He can't do it every game. He needs a rest sometimes. You know what I mean? He needs a rest.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, we get into the game, like we say, but I mean, obviously, he hasn't been in a lot of the squads in this trophy this year, but I think he has. I mean, obviously, I believe he should start tomorrow, but at the same time, he's got to at least be on the bench if he's not starting.
Yeah.
You really, really need him for this game. Just again, like I say, he's not your natural captain, but he does his talking on the pitch. And like I said at full time, when I was doing it with Mike and Daz, massive credit to Jordan Clark. He was the only player at full time that's gone over there and clapped the fans. The rest of them are hiding a little bit. Obviously,
yeah,
there's
also you got to look into that. He's not going to get. You know what I mean? He's not going to get as much, if any, abuse.
No, exactly. And that's because
now with Pelly Ruddock gone, not just Pelly Ruddock, but certain player, a lot of Luton type players gone. We haven't. There's no one stepping up to that plate.
And this is the thing, right? Even with his poor games, because let's be honest, last couple of games he ain't been great, but he's still, he's still trying to put an effort in. It's like you said, he's probably sick of, trying to be the one that continuously is doing it for us. I mean, you only have to go back to the first game he come back against Leyton Orient. He was the reason we pushed the away game. He was the only reason we pushed on to get a draw, because he had that chance straight away, didn't he? Where he hit the post or whatever it was, and then obviously we was on him from there. But I feel sorry for him, man. And like I've said, I mean, this was when we was in a really bad run. I said after we lost to Mansfield, I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, he went in January. Obviously, didn't because we picked up a little bit. But, I mean, if I was him in the summer, I think his contract's out. He's going to go for me. And I don't blame him. I will be absolutely gutted. But if I was him, I'd do the same thing. He should be the highest paid player for me as well. He definitely deserves it. I mean, his loyalty that he's shown. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's just, it's one of them where he deserves to be it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's probably flipping someone who's been crap throughout because that's what half the others have been like. But yeah, anyway, I mean, yeah, that first half, it was good to see Wells got a goal. Hopefully he can kick on, but it feels like we're saying the same thing when it comes to that side of things, Dad.
Yeah, he took it well. It's a great pass. This is what I mean. And, the fact that Johnson moved into the midfield and was calling for it, sitting there, that's what he's good at. But even then, he was waiting for the pass for a little while. I think it was Savile. And because he knew what he was going to do straight away, like a minute earlier or whatever. He knew what the idea already formed in his head, and he played it perfectly. Good goal, but it almost felt a little bit against the run of play, maybe. It wasn't like we was on top, and yeah, we deserved that. It was, you know what I mean. There was still that kind of in the background of okay, we've scored. It just didn't feel like it used to feel. And yeah, we'll get into some of the comments Wilshere obviously said about afterwards. There was booing from minute one. There wasn't booing from minute one, and then he said it was from certain sections. It was groaning, right, more than anything. Like play it forward, and I get that he's saying, we're looking for that. Almost perfect pass, really, the right opportunity to pass. But there never seems to be the right opportunity. Do you know what I mean? You don't really see it. Obviously, you can say it with Johnson, but that's because he moved in midfield. A lot of the players are static 90% of the time, apart from maybe the wingers. And even they're getting affected with it right now, especially Kadua. So we're going to be frustrated because we're used to seeing you can still play it forward. We used to find the right pass loads of times with less quality technical players. So you can still play. Last time we was in League One when we absolutely smashed it under Nathan Jones, obviously he left him there. Some of the football we were playing was brilliant, and it went long ball. That sort of came more later. It was in a championship trying to compete with certain and the way Charlton basically play now. But we were brilliant in the last time we was in League One. We played some great football, like I said, with less players, but we had a spine of a team. Do you know what I mean? Two really good centre backs, a decent keeper, brilliant striker. Do you know what I mean? And played two up front as well, Hilton and Collins. And had decent playmakers in the midfield, and tough tacklers. Players that put in a shift 90% of the time. Do you know what I mean? Berry, Buddock. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just and then going into the second half, there was a little spell where we passing it around a little bit more urgency, having controlling the game, but never really getting it into the forward lines. It's like we stopped, years ago, or a couple of years ago, we bang it forward to like Elijah and things like that. We've totally gone away from that. I get that because we haven't got the big men up front, but there's still 2 shots on target for the whole game, mate. It's just not. It's not good enough. And you can say we got no divine right. Of course, we know that. Everyone knows that. But it's not about winning the games. It's about the performances in the games, and that's not good enough. That's why people are getting annoyed. Do you know what I mean?
And what doesn't help, is the fact we've had 2 shots on target, and you look at the away games, we're not getting anything out of them at the moment.
There's most teams that have come, they've had the same amount of shots against us and scored 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah,
as well. So obviously everyone knows that. Do you know what I mean? No divine right. Obviously,
I mean, it's even like Burton, right? Their only shot on target was the goal. You know that.
Yeah, no, but it's the performance. You know what I mean? And ain't the frustration and what was it? He said something else like.
Basically, aim the frustration at him.
Yeah, we've seen that. Right, he was. We're trying. You're not trying hard enough.
No,
you're not. You need someone out there just to go. Nah, I'm just going to go on my own little run or whatever. I'm going to try and do something in this game. We haven't got that. we have Clark, but he can't be doing it all the time. I think he's 30 now, not that's majorly old, but it is. Yeah, it's just we kind of got a way of playing, etc. Just need a reset. Or it's like Gary Sweet out stuff. It's not. It's kind of too late for that, and probably maybe it just needs a reset. Everyone goes through a bad patch in stuff, but if anything, going to the Premier League's messed us up. This yin and yang, mate, happens. Without dark there can't be light, etc. And then we're going through a moment. It is tough to take, but I'm pretty. Ultimately we are getting the stadium. I know people are like, yeah, but it don't matter. It does fucking matter. And wait, when you see it, when it's finished, you'll appreciate it a lot more. Especially nothing to you, Tyler, but people who have been waiting for it for fucking 30, 40 years. It's massive. And we've got the chance to bring. When we got promoted to Premier League, the whole town was buzzing, and got in. And that can come back. We just got to totally, sort of not reset, but certain players. We've got some out, and just recruit like we used to. Look at some of the other teams' models and what they're doing. We used to say, yeah, teams like Brentford and Brighton, there's kind of our role models. They used to be Division 4 teams, and
that's who we wanted to be like when we was in the Prem.
And look how they're recruiting. They lose players year on, year out, some of them, and they're still staying in the Premier League. Bournemouth Stadium, yeah, they've been in there for ages, so they've generated a backup amount of money. But initially, they stayed. They're not making nothing really. The tickets are probably a bit higher than ours. Do you know what I mean? But their stadium's smaller than ours in capacity. So there's that. There's just the recruitment definitely isn't been as good. You can't deny that. There's a couple of players that look good and stuff, and they've definitely got potential. People have been watching Sweet's interview that he did before, when obviously they invited certain channels onto their thing. It was very defensive anyway, and I get it to a certain extent, but sometimes you got to admit, look, it hasn't worked out. Just, do you know what I mean? We're going for it. If it come out and say, look, we're going for a really tough period, but just stick with us. Like none of that's come out, and that's the problem. Yeah, but it's just like we've got no divine right to win this. But you said you're going for promotion. Before we sat Bloomfield, you said minimum is playoffs. That's not happening. And just things like that. We have got some good players there, but some they're not going to take the club forward. You can see it more now. I like Anderson, but he's not a top end championship player. Naismith, no. Jones potentially, Johnson definitely, Morris potentially, Kadua definitely, Clark for a while, Palmer backup player. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, we got to get the recruitment right. Just Port Vale signed Talage. I don't know where they signed her from. We could check that out. Obviously, and they were in League Two, weren't they? And they signed him when they got promoted. They signed him. That's brilliant. I mean, I'm not being. I know it's a totally mad up thing to say, but I do a lot of manager games on FIFA. I just, and I manage Port Vale or whatever. He was banging in goals there. Their stats, they're not. It's not exactly the same, but the stats sort of measure up in a certain way. You know what I mean? They get them from somewhere. They get them from some sort of database. It's not like they're giving him 87 rating shooting ability or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And he was banging it. I thought, who's this guy? And I just thought, who's this guy?
You're right. I've just had a look. Yeah, they got him from Aldershot Town, who are in the National League, and they're not even up there in National League, by the way. Right now, they are obviously. I don't know where they were when they signed him, but they're 12th, so they're mid-table.
I mean, we've stopped doing that. We used to do that a lot, and what we have been doing as well he's recruiting, like we've done, like Taylor, or he's like Craig McCall-Smith. He is, if he's given the right opportunity. I think maybe his attitude is lackadaisical in training and stuff. So I think that could be an issue. Just guessing that just by the fact that Huddersfield also signed him for, and then let him go out on loan, etc. He seems to go when he goes out on loan, he does well. This is the thing. So
same when he went to Lincoln, wasn't it?
There's obviously something there. Personality, there's something there, which is strange, but there is a player there. We never give him the opportunity. We signed him in the first place. McAtee, he's a bit older, but in a decent team, I think he'd be all right. Pebble never gave him a chance, and things like that. Signing them like we've done now with Archer. He should have been. We said about it at the time, straight in, and now look, he can play on the left.
He would be that one that we need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Nordas should have been kept at the club.
Bicycle kick scored yesterday against PSV, by the way.
As well, but Nordas should have still been it. Even Woodrow, to a certain extent. Again, he wasn't really given enough starts and things like that. So it's a whole combination of things. And now, fair play to Jack. He's got what he's got. He's only managed to, get a couple. Like Lawrence, for me, again, that's the side he should have made
at the start.
A bit start of the season, so he gets used to the League One football, which he's never played. Right, a handful of games in a Virtue, and look good and that, but that's not that hard. So yeah, second night, and then inevitably we just sat back. For some reason, I get why he brought Longwick on, but and I thought we'd take Jones off like for like, but we went 5 at the back.
It's exactly what I said.
Inviting pressure, and then but we got no Divine Right, and teams it's hard to do. They weren't doing anything. It wasn't hard to play against them at all. Just do what certain teams do to you. Put the long balls over. You don't need to look for that perfect opportunity. We're not in. It's not chess like the Premier League is sometimes. Put balls in their box, mate. We had one corner. Do you know what I mean? That's what that yeah.
Yeah.
No, defense was too bad. Other than that, but since we went defensive minded too much, and everyone was in the box, so where am I? Who am I marking? You marking him? I'm marking him. Is he marking him? Dave marking him? But yeah, what? Same old shit. So it's a combination of everything, and ultimately it's cost our season, isn't it? And this is what back-to-back relegations do. Not if you look at other teams in the history of back-to-back relegations, they've done exactly the same thing. It will get better, but you just got to grin and bear it sometimes. I still think we'll stick with Wilshere and get another transfer window, and we'll see what happens from there. But I want to start early as well. That's what we used to do with recruitment. We haven't done that. They're saying it's more difficult to get. So take a risk on some players, like Port Vale did. I think they had someone else as well. And if they're still adding, they might stay up. Someone else they had. I can't remember. I think he got to Plymouth and all.
I don't. To be honest, I don't.
Right back or a winger or something. But anyway, yeah. So that's all I've got to say about the game. At the end of the game, obviously, the boos. Obviously, it's going to happen, and a lot of it is talk, and because people were saying after them successive nonsense games away, if we don't get a win, if we'd have won that game 1-0, playing like how we did, there probably would have been a lot less. There might have been a couple, but there'd have been a lot less. But the fact that they had like that one chance and they scored it
only shot on target.
It just turned people, and in today's it's toxic. It is like when Matey Boy had a go at Ronnie Henry when we was in the conference, and I was talking about that earlier. But the crowd them days, especially when we were struggling, I think we finished 7th the season before, something like that. If we weren't 1-0 up in 10 minutes, the crowd would be going mental, booing the players and that. We did think then we had a divine right. We should be smashing this league apart. It took us 5 years. And it reminds me a little bit of that, but because the board have been there before, we will get out of this situation quicker. I mean, obviously we're still we're in a much, 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 much better position. But it took John Steele then to invite the fan onto the pitch, into the huddle, I think it was at the time. And yeah, we just sort of turned it around after that, and the rest is history, isn't it? And that was a starting point that got us to the Prem. But I don't want it to get like that, because it's too bad. It's bad now. There's too much jointed shit going on, and between the fans and the players, particularly, the board. Normally in fact get some sticking out, but when it gets between the fans, that's almost. You look at it happening at other clubs. They don't really turn it around. They just get worse and worse, and that's potentially what's going to happen, because they'll just give up. I'm looking to go next season, and so you just got to stick with it. But someone's got to try and galvanise them for tomorrow night and say, look, the fans deserve this. There's got to be enough in there to say, look, let's turn this around. But are we going to see it? Do you know what I mean? Let's get into the player ratings, unless you want.
Yeah. Let's go through comments, because there is a lot of comments. Obviously, a lot of people agreeing with what you're saying, Dad. So, and obviously talking on the game. So we'll do that. Harry says, fair play to Nahki Wells. He had a lot of stick, and rightly so. However, he stepped up and delivered after the goal. Service for him was shocking. Yeah, I agree. Do you know what?
It has been pretty much all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's had a few opportunities where he's missed in that, but ultimately, he's not really had the service.
No. And that has been the problem with the one up front. But again, it goes back to what I always say. My annoyance with like him and Yates, more so Yates, obviously, and Yates has gone out now anyway.
But these are not Wilshere signings either.
Yeah. So is the chances. That's the thing for me. But it's more Yates than Wells, to be fair. Like Yates, like I say, that Northampton game, he should have scored in that game. No excuses. He had 2 great chances. Wells hasn't been as bad as that, and he has been more effective. But yeah, I was actually pretty confident. Bless you, Jamie. I was pretty confident. So yeah. Yeah, Morris was probably the last captain we had that I had. Like, I know obviously last year was poor, but he was playing through injury, and that tells you a lot as well. Like, this is the problem, right? Sometimes we let players play through stuff. I know he was the captain, but last game of the season, he was injured. But he was the last one I had confidence in terms of, I know sometimes we said that we didn't really like it, but like in terms of vocal, he was probably the last one. Clark does his talking on the pitch. He's that type of one, and he'll talk to players individually. But yeah, he's the last one. Obviously, Lockyer, but like in terms of after that, like even when Bell had it a few times, I was a bit like, I didn't mind it because, he was at the club for quite a while, but he weren't, do you know what I mean, the sort of natural one. Yeah, they did do a huddle, Daz. They did do a huddle. I did see that. Not initially.
Before it got ugly, yeah.
Yeah. And then Clark, come over like closer to the Kenny and things like that. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. That's without a shadow of a doubt. Simon says it needs a total rebuild. Yep, totally agree. Jackie agreeing as well. Yeah, the Pebble one, like we said, that was so frustrating because he never got a chance. Never, ever got a chance.
Hopefully they scored 4 goals, and they'll probably be up front tomorrow.
Yeah, he scored 2. Like you say, 2 goals each.
I'm going to quickly touch on, Wilshere apparently telling the fans, you don't know what was said to him.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit,
And Naismith's a bit because of what he said before a little bit. This isn't Luton and that, but what he said afterwards, in his interview, he was all right. Do you know what I mean? And I do feel sorry for him a little bit because I think he's the player that he was, and like you said, he didn't actually play too bad.
I don't think it's bad against Wigan either.
Some of these other players are not listening to him or don't respect him enough. Like I'll play for a Premier League club, mate. I've played at a higher level than you do. You know, I don't know, but there's obviously not as many bonds as what we've built over the past, and this is another thing that Sweet said. Like they got to be right for the club. They're going to fight for this club. I can't see that at the moment.
No,
I mean, you can't be putting it all on the fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know we've got no divine right, but the performances are not there. It's not like we're booing because we lost 2-1 to Cardiff or at home after do you know what I mean? Stuff like that is consistently poor, and their away form is just unexplainable. It just shows you that that's where the fight should be as well, not just at home, because it's easier when the crowd's behind you, etc., especially with us, but away. Yeah. Just get into the player ratings, right?
Yeah. I honestly think, right, and I'm just going to tell you guys this anyway, right? When we had Elliot Thorpe at the club, right, I see another channel like get him on, right? So I thought, okay, let me try and message him just to see if he can come on here, do a hat show, just asking me thoughts on the game and thoughts.
Permission.
Yeah, and that's what he said. But then they were like, "Oh no." I think they just don't like our.
Yeah, I get that to a certain extent, but I'm not.
But they won't be doing none of that again anyway, and I'll tell you why. Because Ben Kensel, the people told me that did go. Ben Kensel was the one who run it. He's not here anymore, so they won't be doing that again anyway. But to be honest, it's all to try and get you in. Get you in on it, and say, "Oh, everything's going to turn around."
Well, I think it can work, but not at the moment, and not. It's
no.
Just that it sort of did backfire, but it is.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we on that? I don't know if you're saying you want that to happen. I haven't seen anything anywhere. Now, for me, like I say, I stick by what I say the other day. We won't. Well, for me, I don't want to do it, to be quite honest with you, because I don't trust the higher ups to get the right replacement. I mean, they haven't done that the last 2 times, so you could say third time lucky, but I very much doubt it. And to be honest, obviously, I've said about I haven't really seen Chris Powell's influence. He was there the other day, dead proper, wasn't he?
He is more games. You just don't see it if you're not actually at the game.
Like I say, I definitely believe he's saying stuff to him in the training ground, but I just ultimately at times, yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm just not on that because I just don't trust us to get the right replacement. That's all it is really. And that is not the problem anyway. Yeah, okay, there's the argument. Like I say, we don't know what was said.
He's got been
and he did say, and at the same time,
I'll get through this.
Yeah, this is why I'm 50-50 on it, because we don't know what was said, in defense of him. But then he did say, take the blame, take the anger at me. So then there is that part. Obviously, if they've said something personal, then there's no need for that.
Exactly.
If it's like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? I can understand that a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Because it is like the long week sub was frustrating. I didn't mind all the other subs.
Well, we've done it with Edwards. We've done it with Bloomfield. His last game, he didn't even come over because he was just like, nah. Sort of draining the managers a little bit. And if you're giving it to them constantly and they give it back a bit, I don't mind that too much, really. Because at the end of the day, it's still human beings, aren't they? But they've got to, if they come on the pitch and do something, then go put it on there. Go, yes, see. Do you know what I mean? Let's give it back to them a little bit, because that's what Luton's like that anyway.
Yeah. 100%.
They accept that. I'd accept it.
Never seen you in a chat, mate, but big up to yourself. I agree, mate. I agree. Because there is that part where you can't say certain things. So I agree, mate. But in terms of player ratings, right, let's get into it. Keeley, by the way, that yellow card, right, in my opinion, and I said this after with the fan cam in mind, that shouldn't have been for Keeley, that yellow card. It should have been for Naismith because he had the ball in his hands. He's going to short pass it to him. But either way, I mean, obviously they're being told to do that, but that doesn't help, in terms of, obviously us feeling they're going to inevitably score, sort of that stuff. Just get the ball up there, man. I mean, I don't like them short goal kicks we do. Never have, never will. But yeah, Keeley, I mean, didn't really have to do any big saves. You know, obviously their only shot on target was the goal. Don't blame him for that. So yeah, I'll probably just give him a, I don't know, 6.4. No, I'll give him a 6 actually. I'll just give it an average 6. Get involved in the chat as well. Harry and Jackie have both gone with a 6 for him. Yeah, because there weren't really any like big saves, was there, from him or anything like? So I'll just like I say 6 for me for
Yeah,
Keeley.
6. Like I say, the yellow card was a bit. I think he warned him before then, but he wasn't even really wasting that much.
Because even Keeley's reaction, he's like, "What?" Where he looks at the fans.
I think something similar happened in another game. I don't know if it's him or Kaminsky where we were doing that.
Yeah, it was Kaminsky.
Yeah, blame because he's meant to be taking a goal kick. You know, whatever. Yeah, I should give him a 6.
Yeah, fair enough. Luton Town fans gone a little bit higher, so 7.5. Moving on to Jones. I actually thought he was one of the better players. You know, if I was to give him man of the match, I probably won't, I'll be honest, but I'd give it, definitely have him up there. I thought he was good. Obviously, there was a few moments, like there was a moment in the second half, I'd say he tried to get slide tackle, he missed it a bit. But he done really well, giving, the right back conversations and all that. And he was all right there. I mean, we wanted to see it. Like I say, I wanted to see it because I know Hakeem will be back in the next coming games, if not tomorrow. So I know, we can put him there if it doesn't well. Obviously, Longwick can play there against lesser sides, I would say. But yeah, I mean, he was all right, Jones, to be fair. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I thought he was decent. Obviously, his pace helps. And most, like I say, the goal, there was a few that should have done better. Do you know what I mean? But over the whole game, the 90 minutes and that, I thought he was quite consistent and won a few tackles. Kept him at bay when he needed to. I thought he was all right. I thought the defence itself weren't too bad. It was just going forward. Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Anderson, I'll give a 7 as well. I don't think he really done anything wrong.
He was pretty solid, yeah.
He's passing it around, but they're told to do that. We know that. Maybe look for a more decisive pass. You know what I mean? At times, like Johnson did. I thought Johnson was good as well. Give him a 7. I'm just going to give all the defence a 7. I don't think they were too bad.
I'll give Naismith and Anderson a 7. Johnson, I'll go slightly higher, 7.5. He did get in Team of the Week. It was weird, though, because obviously, as soon as he got man of the match at the stadium, he obviously, gave away a foul. And then, obviously, I wouldn't say he's the main culprit for the bit where we should have cleared it away.
Yeah.
Paul Van Den Berg. But he was obviously part of it, unfortunately. But still, I mean,
yeah, he's trying to play it forward. Like, if Mengi was there, he would have probably smashed that away.
Yeah, he would have just
the goal would have
hit someone. Yeah.
You can't be too critical of him. He's still young.
No, he still had a good game. Yeah.
And he's still learning. And anyway, like I said, after that,
man of the match on his birthday as well.
Should have been dealt with.
Yeah. Man of the match, hearing that at the stadium as a player, on your birthday. That's great as well.
Yeah.
He's only 20? 20 as well. So let's not, let's not forget that as well. And to be honest, obviously we've said it before. He said them ambitions of wanting to play in the Champions League. Well, if he can continue good performances, and progress, we could sell him for, quite decent, hefty amount, like we did for Justin. Hopefully,
not in League One, we won't.
Well, not if you're in League One, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, other ratings. Jones 6.5 says Jackie. Luton Town fan Jones 5. Fair enough. Yeah, more Van Den Berg, but yeah, I agree. And then moving on to Saville in his own role. I mean, I was a little bit surprised we'd done it in a home game. We should have done it on Tuesday. I keep saying Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, he was all right, to be fair. He was, he weren't too bad. I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, same. That's what he's there to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
He should have played some more forward, but generally, that's what he's there to do. Didn't really make any mistakes for me, just not gelling with everyone else. But everyone else weren't gelling either. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah. Moving on to Morris, good to see him start. I thought he was all right in terms of running forward at times. You know, he got us a
Effort.
few. Yeah, exactly. And he is one of them. Like, so obviously you've got Jordan Clark as the main one who gives the effort. Then I'd say, obviously it's not working on him on the left, but at the moment, but Kadoa. Then I'd probably have Morris underneath them. I'd say they're like the main three. You know, week in, week out, that give it the right go. And yeah, he was all right. I'll give it a 6.5. Maybe not quite as good games as he's had previously, especially the Bradford game, for example, but he was still trying to do things.
Yeah, I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah. 6.8 for Savile, says Harry. Savile, 6. Fair enough, Jackie. And then moving on to, we'll go over to Clark. Again, not the best of games. I mean, the rating he got on flash scores, that was a joke. He weren't that bad.
No.
But yeah, it wasn't, you know, like the recent games, you know, not quite been as good, but still been one of our, you know, better players. So yeah, for me, I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, same. He was on the ball, you know, trying to make things happen and trying to get on the ball, and didn't really put a foot wrong in that respect. But again, more forward passes and but people have got to get in positions and things like that, and the urgency's got to be there.
Yeah.
That's when Clark plays is generally his best football.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you only have to look at goals over the years, take away the banging goals. The goals where like he set someone up or they've set him up, like, you know, there's always been them examples. A lot of that obviously happened in the Prem, obviously leading up to the Prem and things like that. Morris 7 says Jackie. Harry says Morris 7.5. Thought he was the only one trying to make things happen after the goal. Yeah, I'd agree. He's my man of the match for your side. Jones probably would have got it, but not after the equal. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I know what you mean. But again, that's the vulnerabilities of not having a natural right back. You know, and that's a problem from our end. But yeah, I agree. There was a large part of the game where I was thinking, I said to you, Dad, didn't I? Jones probably the man of the match. But yeah, he was still pretty decent. There was a few moments, but again, first game in right back since the Wilshere comments. Overall, he was all right in my opinion. Clark 6, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, same as us. Palmer. See, the thing is, he was higher up, you know, in the role that, you know, is his main role. I mean, could there be an argument? I was thinking this earlier, Dad. Obviously, Kadowa's not really working on the left.
Mm.
You know, we've got Savile building in now. Obviously, Richards is building back in. You know, so you could have, say, for example, you could have Savile in that bit behind, Clark and Richards. Palmer on the left, maybe, at some
Possibly.
point?
I mean, I think he's obviously more right-footed, but I think he looks bad on the left in League One, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I might be open to it because Kadowa's not quite working out there. You know, you could have Kadowa starting or Morris starting, whoever, you know, and then swap them in the game. You know, maybe against Port Vale. Obviously, I don't really want to experiment tomorrow. You know, you just want to go for a strong team and try and win the game. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, Palmer for me, he obviously did get a yellow card. He has got quite a few yellow cards already, I think, for us. But yeah, not quite as effective as he's been able to be. And it was a bit of a surprise.
Time as well. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, I'll just give him 6. Yeah, I agree. Jackie's on 6.5. Clark 7, says Luke Town fan. Palmer 7 as well. Fair enough. Kadowa, like I say, he's struggling a little bit, to be honest, on that left. So I'll just give him a 6 as well.
Yeah, I'll just give him a 6. To really offer anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then Wells, do you know what? If I was to give a man a match, I probably would give it to Wells. Now I know he come off, but I actually thought he had the confidence after getting the goal, and you could sort of tell when he come off. Like again, rightly so from us fans because we've been frustrated. He sort of didn't really like when players come off; they sort of clap. I don't feel he really wanted to. You know, it sort of looked like it. But yeah, I thought he was all right, man. He was trying. It was a better game from him, but you know, it does feel like the same things in terms of his next game. Will he be able to follow up on it? You know, based on the history this season, you'd probably say no, but hopefully he can when he next starts. But yeah, he was actually one of our best players with Jones for me in this game. So I'll give him a 7 as well.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, good finish. Working hard. Clash with the keeper. 50-50. I mean, it did look like the keeper got him, but they both went in for the ball, and referee's interpretation that split second was what it was. You know what I mean? So you can't really do a lot about that. And worked quite hard. But as has been discussed from Wiltshire, he's got to be looked after in it. So that he'll probably be rested or put on the bench maybe if it goes to penalties or something. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Yaz took a few penalties for us this season as well. So yeah, where are we on the ratings? Doa 6 says Jackie. Wells 7. Doa 5.5. Don't remember him doing much at all, and that's credit to our defence. Malife was man of the match. Yeah, he was good. Wells 7. Luton Town fan. Wells 10. To be fair, it could have been a situation, right? So obviously Wells scored. Say if their keeper actually got sent off or something, I reckon Wells probably, scores. I don't know. It wouldn't have been a penalty, obviously, but I just got a feeling he probably would have got a brace, which could have probably gave him a rating like that, to be honest. But yeah, moving on to the subs. Van den Berg, let's be honest, he was poor. The thing that really annoyed me the most with him, well, actually, is that more annoying or the goal? Nah, it was probably the pass because that's a simple pass. It went out for a throw. It was just like, what the hell was that? Might as well try to pass it to me, to be quite honest. He did get a yellow card as well. Obviously, you said you're frustrated with him, Dad. He weren't great. So, do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to give him a 5.5.
Yeah, I agree. To be fair to him, he hasn't started the game and this, that, and the other. He's getting used to it. I think there probably is a player there, definitely. But yeah, it's just being thrown in a little bit. I think Walsh easily gets in ahead of him, and he just sits on the bench. Yeah, and then the goal as well. He definitely probably should have been facing the wrong way and all that. So yeah, not great. 5.5.
Yeah, Danny 5. Moving on to Cole. See, like for like change for Wells. I thought, do you know what? I'll just give him a 6 because the way we approached the second half.
Weren't even getting the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
What could he do?
Yeah.
6.
Richards, I'll go slightly higher. Again, similar thing. We couldn't do much in terms of him going forward, but I thought he defended really well at times. There was times in front of us he was winning the ball, and I was like, "Go on."
Yeah, good. Not, another one we need to keep hold of definitely, and I think we will. But 6.5.
Yeah, and then Longwick, I'll probably just give a 6.
Yeah,
simple as that. So, yeah, they are the ratings for the game. As for the points, I will actually remember to do them in terms of telling you guys. So the points as they stand. So only me and Lewis gained a point. We were the only two to say a draw. We both actually said 2-2 as well. So it's now level at the top between me and Jamie. So I'm on 21. You're on 11, Dad. Jackie, you're on 20. Rich is on 14. Paul's on 18. Stephen's on 17. Phil's on 9. Darth Vader's on 16. Ben's on 15, Terry's on 9, Dave's on 10, Blitz is on 14, Chat GPT. Actually, I was going to say hold that, but it said a Luton win, actually, so maybe not. Jamie on 21, Harry on 6, Lewis is on 9, and Ryan is on 6. So, yeah, again, joint level at the top, and it just annoys me a bit because if I said 1-0 to Wigan, which I had a feeling it could have been, I'd have been top. I'd have been top right now, but it is what it is. So they are the points. So, oh my days. So yeah, that's that when it comes to that. But yeah, enough said about that game. Moving on to the Plymouth game tomorrow. Like I say, biggest game of the season. We have to win. Simple as that. It's knockout football anyway. But with everything else going on in terms of the playoffs looking well and truly out. And how everything is at the club in terms of the toxicness, the fans not happy, things like that. They have to respond, and the thing I will say is other than probably the other day, the games where we do have home games after not playing so great, whether that's away or a home game. We do actually respond all right. Obviously, I'll go back to that Huddersfield game, the midweek game, which was a Tuesday night as well, I think, actually. We got absolutely battered to Barnsley. But we got to go for it. It's going to be a very difficult game, as we know. Plymouth, they've got a lot of momentum at the club, unlike us. They did get a very emphatic win, like we've said, against Cardiff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they'd get a draw, I'll be honest. I was thinking 12:30 at home, they can get a draw out of that. But to win the way they did, like you say, Dad, Pebble and Talaj scoring 4 goals combined, they're going to go strong, like we are expected to. Nothing's quite come out from what I've seen in terms of like if Liam Walsh and Hakeem are definitely going to be available for this game, but I expect one of them will be at least. Probably Hakeem on the bench. But Walsh, yeah, we can really do with him, or coming on as well, to be quite honest here. But we've got to approach this, very strong. I mean, one, because of the team we're playing. 2, the fact if we do get past Plymouth, we got a very favourable semi-final. Northampton as well, they're going to probably have one eye on staying up, trying to stay up as well. And then from there, you're at Wembley, and we obviously got put back in it. So you've got to make the most of this. I mean, obviously, I said at the start of the tournament when we played Barnet, I'd love to sort of revisit, all them years ago. I did want us to actually try and push for the playoffs at the same time, but that's looking very unlikely. So this is the only thing now. And like I've said, I'm going to be so deflated. I am going to this. If we don't win this game, I'm going to be so deflated. I can't even, have any joy watching a game, to be quite honest here, for the rest of the season. And like I say, if we do progress, you've got the game next week, the semi-final, and that's only one leg as well. And also the fact we've been so favourable in terms of all the knockout games have been at home. I mean, if this isn't a great chance to go for this, I don't know what is. But the only thing that gives me confidence is maybe the players we can have back, in terms of Walsh and Hakeem. I don't know if anyone else is going to be back. So they're the main 2 that sounded like they're going to be. That's the only thing that gives me confidence. But, I mean, in terms of Plymouth already beating us twice, it's not really looking great, is it, Dad?
No, the omens don't look good, but this is one of them pivotal moments in the season where you've got to turn it around. Everyone's half expecting. Most people, I'd say, that we'll just go out for whimper, or or it'd be like us to beat Plymouth and then lose to Northampton or something like that. You just got to kind of hope, but they've got to go toe to toe with them. I mean, I Cleverly can be a bit, of a cock, I think, sometimes. So it wouldn't surprise me if he actually rested a couple of players anyway. Talaj hasn't just come back from injury, so he might just bang them on the bench and go, look, we got enough, we can do them without our star players. Unless, obviously if we bang on it, then he'll be forced to bring them on. But we've just got to go toe to toe with them. Simple as that. With the strongest squad, it's got to be Keeley in goal. And that's all I can say, really. What else can you say? There'll be a lot of pressure on them. Maybe less fans. So, that might help a little bit. I don't know. But massive game. But they'll know that as well. But they've just got to go toe to toe. They've got to go for it and, put in the effort. And that's the least that we expect. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there'll be a drubbing. I know a few people have said that, but I don't think that. I mean, even when you think of the games we played against them this season, but they haven't battered us. It's been narrow games, isn't it? It's just the away game we were awful, and the home game, obviously we had Bloomfield, but it was individual errors every single goal. So I'm expecting a close game despite their form, and they can't be going into this game too confident, like overconfident for me, because that could bite them in the arse as well. To be quite honest, and I have seen a few people say, if we lose this game, obviously the pressure mounts on him and thing. I actually don't think it will for this game. And I know, obviously, we're out of the car. It's very unlikely we go up. But because of the lack of the crowd anyway, there's still loads of tickets around me. And I'm in, like, the bit where the atmosphere usually is, even in these, type of games, in terms of, like, right at the front. I think it's more so if we lose to Vale, To be quite honest, I think that's where it could really, really go off. And obviously that's a continuation of the poor away form. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you can't really be confident in it, but like I say, the players coming back, that does give me the confidence because I expect him to be back, especially with him saying Walsh is obviously back in contention for the Burton game and he didn't get selected. That tells me, bang, he's going to be ready for this game. Whether he starts or not is a different question. But yeah, in terms of a lineup, well, actually, we'll go through the comments first. So Daz says we'll be watching on TV, travelling back tomorrow, hoping for a 2-0 win. Yeah, obviously said that on the fan cam the other day. I mean, that would be very good, but yeah, I'll be honest, I can't see us keeping them out, especially if Talage and Pebbles form. Jackie says, I think we'll get walloped 3-0. That'll not be very good. And you know it's bad when Jackie's saying that. You know, Jackie obviously backs us a lot. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. But at the same time, like I say, if they can't go in this too overconfident. No, it's just the main stand. But even then, mate, there's barely anyone that wants to go. And I can't blame them. You know, even with the low ticket prices, obviously it's only a fiver. You know, £1 for the kids. But yeah, mate, I don't blame. You know, people ain't interested in this till it's the latter rounds. But this is what I'm saying as well. Like, try and get the fans' belief. You know, because I'm sure well, in my opinion, what they should do, if we do progress, they should open the whole stadium because that's a semi-final, you know, and then you bang, you're there at Wembley. But obviously, we have to get past Plymouth, and that's not going to be easy. Paul's gone 2-1. But yeah, in terms of our lineup, Dad, so what I've done, obviously, we usually do these together, but I did do one earlier. So if you want to make any changes or any changes you would do, just let me know. But yeah, in terms of this, so Keeley in goal. You know, the thing is, the reason we don't go with Shea, well, I don't, and I'm sure you're the same, Dad, is because of that Swindon game. I mean, didn't really fill me with a lot of confidence, especially on that second goal. I mean, Shea, 9 times out of 10, you can rely on him, but I don't know, man. Keeley has obviously been better throughout the season. Obviously played more anyway, but like Shea, I don't really have that confidence that, you know, he's going to be as reliable as he once was, to be quite honest here. So, Keeley, yep, I agree with you there. Obviously, the right back, I have gone Jones because I don't know about Hakeem, but it could be Lomwick, like you've discussed, Dad.
Yeah, I think it probably will be.
Do you know why I think it could be? Thinking about it as well, it could be Lomwick because Kadowa's not really working on the left. You've got to have him in the squad for this game. You know, you can't be doing what we did against Swindon and not have him and Clark. More so him in particular, like in that Swindon game, I was annoyed about. But like, yeah, you could have Jones on the left. You know, that's proven to work. So that could be another thing. Anderson and Mengi. Mengi was fully rested, you know, so that he's going to be in for me. And him and Anderson have worked pretty well at stages this season. Johnson on the left. I mean, even though I don't think Naismith has actually been bad the last 2 games, I do think, you know, Johnson is the better one, obviously, you know, in that role. I have put Saville in his own role. Large part of that, Sandal's still out. We haven't seen him play. You need the big players for this game. We did play a 4-1-4-1 the last time in this competition, I believe, as well. So I would stick with Saville there. Plymouth, they are going to cause a threat. So as long as you're telling him to do the mop-up and the other things, I would put him there. Morris on the right, you got to start him. He has been really good in this competition, to be fair, I think. You know, you only have to go to his debut and then a few other games he's scored in so far. And then the left, like I say, obviously I have put Kadoa there, but there is a part of me that wouldn't mind Jones being there and then Lomwick right back. And then if Lomwick doesn't really have a great, you know, period, you can bring Hakeem on, hopefully. Obviously, we said we've aimed to have him back for this game. Clark and Palmer. Palmer can play in this, despite obviously being out alone. He can. I did have a little double check. And he, you know, him and Clark experience in that role can be more beneficial. However, to be honest, I wouldn't mind if it's Clark and Richards. To be honest, I wouldn't mind that either. And then up front, I've gone Cole. Like we said, Dad, I think Wells will be like rested, like on the bench for this game. And then obviously El Hamady wasn't in the squad the other day, but I think he's been rested, and I would stick with Cole because I think Cole has been the better one in terms of link up, and him being that sole one, hopefully he will get the chances. But yeah, I mean, do you expect that formation, Dad?
I'm not too sure. I think we might go
two up front. I mean, we did against Barnet, to be fair, in this competition.
4-2-3-1 as well, possibly. I expect Walsh to start. I don't think Saville. If anything, they'll probably put Palmer back in that position.
With Walsh?
Maybe with Walsh, or they'll put Walsh further up front, but maybe not. I expect him and Walsh maybe to play together, and then probably Richards to come in, and then we'll see. Cole. I mean, I could also see Al Hamadi go on the left, because I know that he's played there and he can actually play there. I expect probably. I'm not sure if we'll play this formation, because it didn't work against Burton. Do you know what I mean? And it's pretty much the same players, really. Do you know what I mean? So I can't. I think we'll either go two up front, or we'll definitely have two sitting midfielders to help the defenders. It could be Saville and Palmer. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you might be able to get out. What is it? A 4-2-3-1, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, we have played that in this tournament, and obviously in stages in the league. But yeah, I mean, if we don't play this formation, I'd rather we play like not the 4-2-3-1 and like just the 4-4-2 standard, which we have done, obviously, you know, in two games. Well, a half a game and then another game, because I just feel we've had issues, haven't we, with the two together? You know, Saville and Walsh hasn't really worked. We haven't seen Palmer and think like I said earlier. I don't think this is a game where it's not a game with it being knockout football where you can experiment. You know, so for me, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, just either stick with this or go with two up front, but not not the 4-2-3-1. I just don't want to see that.
Let me just send you something.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go through the comments anyway while you just sort that out. Harry says, I reckon he'll go with Wells and Cole up front together. I mean, there is a possibility. I do think Cole starts, like I've said. And then, yeah, that means El Hamadi should be on the bench, really. Got a feeling he'll drop Saville for some reason and put Longwick at right back. Yeah, he'll put Longwick at right back. I've got a feeling. Thing is, though, with dropping Saville, we haven't got anyone else. I mean, unless you put Walsh straight in, you know.
But again, we'll get that formation. I mean, it's not exactly what I'll go with, but this is the lineup I went with against Blackpool.
Have you sent? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The majority of that works if you look at it.
Yeah. 1 second, I'll just get it up. Going through these comments while it loads. Maybe you'll be standing by my seat behind the wheelchair area. Yeah, I am actually near there, mate. I am near there. I'll try and send you a picture tomorrow. Look out for my plaque on the seat. Hope you have an enjoyable evening. I'm going to need it, mate. I'm going to try and need that. Hope you have an enjoyable evening and all that, mate. But yeah, no, thanks, mate. And yeah, like I said, I'll show you a picture. In terms of that, centre backs, Mengi and Anderson. Right, this is loading. So let me just get it up on the screen. All right, 1 second. There it is. Right, what's it doing? Sorry, guys, I'm just having a bit of an issue. Doesn't want to load. Right, there it is. So let's get it up. So get rid of that. Share that. There it is. I'll press the image. What is it doing? Flipping thing. Sorry, guys. Right, there we go. Right, it's actually up now. So let's actually show you guys. Right, so share screen. Right, there it is. Aha, right, there we go. Flipping thing. It just didn't want to come up with that one. Right, so here it is, guys. When I can actually get onto it. Right, there we go. There you go, Dad.
Right, so like the back four, I'd stick with that. The keeper, I think that's quite likely. You could put Walsh and Palmer in that role there. Could do on the right.
Yeah.
Clark in the middle. Obviously not Bramall. You could put Jones there. Maybe even put that Man City guy there for a bit. You have to play around with that position. Or put Al Hamadi there, and then put Cole or whoever up front. Do you know what I mean? It's something like that. I do feel that we need two kind of holding, and then trying to use them the wingers more, especially Kudo on that side. But yeah, we go two up front, but I can't see that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that left side, if it's not Kadoa, I'd like it to be Jones because, like I say, he has shown elements that he can play there. The Northampton game, a few other games, but I can't remember exactly.
Recently in a game,
yeah,
he done
the
all right
Blackpool
there.
game, I think it was actually,
Yeah.
and then he moved, the other side, so that could happen. But yeah, there is that other part of me as well that expects Lawrence to feature at some point in this game because also it's a smaller, crowd as well. Obviously, he has done well in the Virtue Trophy in terms of that. And he did, to be honest, he did start well in the Swindon game, didn't he? To be honest, so there is that possibility, So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's all interesting there. But yeah, in terms of that time, Dad, I mean, it's make or break. Like I've said, we have to win this game. But the question is, will we or will Plymouth do the triple over us?
I just think that maybe it's going to go to penalties. I don't think 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2 penalties, and Keely's a hero. That's what I'm going to go with. More out of hope than anything else. Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope you're right, to be quite honest with you, because, like I say, if we do not win this game, I'm going to be coming out of Kenilworth Road absolutely devastated because the season is well and truly over, if that is the case. But yeah, as for me, I've got to be honest, they beat us twice. They've got a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, unlike us. I think they're going to beat us 2-1, unfortunately. So I hope that's not the case. I really, really don't. I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. Just coming out of there absolutely deflated, to be honest. I'd rather, have a bit of hope going into the game flipping next week if we can beat them, and then flipping be derailed there, to be honest. I don't want it to finish this early, to be quite honest here. And, it is what we would like. I mean, Jamie's prediction is not good. She's saying I should say it, but I don't think you guys want to hear it, to be honest. Let's just say Jackie said 3-0. Jamie's went a goal higher. So I hope that is really not the case. But we have to start well. I mean, how many games have I said that? But we really, really do.
I don't care about starting well. Just play the whole game well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We can start well. I don't mean, we started average in other games or we need to be consistent, put on teams when we have put teams to bed or whatever. Just put that performance in and, take it. It goes to penalties.
I mean, if we can have a performance like we did against Bradford at home, we should have won that more and we should have had a clean sheet. If we could have something like that, I mean, that's fair fucking play to the players. That's what I'll say. But you got to follow up on it. Port Vale, it's not an easy game. Despite where they are, it's not an easy game. I mean, you only have to look at what they did to us at Kenilworth Road, where we're better at home. But like this game, like this is the thing for me. Like you've got to look at. I'd rather see rotation in that Port Vale game than tomorrow in terms of like less. You got to go for this game. You really, really have to. And if we can win this, all right. I wouldn't have took it at the start of the season in terms of like not competing for the playoffs in terms of towards the end. But like. Yeah, still take it. But obviously, we've got to get past Plymouth. I honestly believe if we can get past Plymouth tomorrow, I think we've got a very good chance of winning it. That's how I see it. That is, I know Stockport are in it and Doncaster, or one of them will be out, obviously. But, I also think with Stockport, if say they progress with how well they're doing in the league, I think they'll have their eyes on that. At Doncaster, you could argue with them relegation. You know, they'll have their eyes on that. So, and it's the same with Northampton if we can progress. You know, and Plymouth, hopefully they've got a bit of spring in their step because they're level on points with us now, I believe, to try and get a late push for the playoffs. Because I think if any team does it, it's going to be them. You know, and realistically, that's what they should have done. That should have been the bare minimum.
They've got the firepower to do it. That's the thing. They've got the firepower to do it.
Exactly. But yeah, last load of comments. I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, there is that possibility, but I just worry of his last game. I mean, his last game for us weren't great, and I've got to be honest, right?
I think you got to go for because
even the Cambridge game, the only game we've had away in this competition, Cambridge. I mean, he weren't great in that game either. I've got to be honest, and it weren't just him. You know, obviously a lot of players were shocking that day, but you know, I want a keeper, you know, who's going to be able to try and compete with the number one. Obviously, no, they're not going to play as much as the number one, but I don't have faith in him to do that anymore. I'm sorry, I don't. I love Shay. Yeah, he's been great for the football club. You know, he has, and he's a funny guy and things like that. But in terms of where we need to be progressing, I can't. You know, it's like when we've got rid of players in the past. You know, Ruddock, Bradley. They're not players that are going to progress with the football club.
Well, they weren't now, but we've gone backwards. So actually, they probably have got us through this patch, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
But ultimately, even I know Lincoln are doing well, but even then, Sonny Bradley has had his moments this season. You know, you only have to go to the Burton game. It should have been a blatant penalty for them. And even when he come against us, not the game at their place, the Kenilworth Road, he weren't great. He weren't like amazing, you know. So yeah, there's certain players I can think, okay, yeah, like Pebble, we didn't give a chance, frustrating. But like ones like Marriott, yeah, okay, he's a top scorer, but he weren't doing much for us.
This is League One, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
where we were at the time, I don't think he's better than a League One player.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I wouldn't mind him playing Fox. I've got a feeling Fox will be in the squad. Same with
deserves it, yeah. Some of them, you know, they've helped get us to that level. They, you know, and they might show no fear, but we are playing Plymouth as well. But
yeah, I'd have Fox on the bench. I would definitely. I'd have him and probably Evans again. To be fair, I wouldn't look to obviously bring him on because this is a massive game, but they deserve that. But and Fox was good the last game. You know, last few games he has played. Like, to be fair to him. And he's probably the next one that's going to break through in terms of like, you know, obviously we've had Nelson.
He reminds me of Johnson.
Yeah, they're similar. Yeah, like we thought it'd probably be Chigoze, but he's playing in the youth team. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But even like the recent, like maybe, who knows? Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. He ain't going to compete with him. You know, he ain't going to compete with him. So you need someone
in this game of this caliber for me.
No, you need someone on their toes, like a keeper that's on their toes, ready, and he ain't that anymore for me. So yeah. Fair enough, mate. I mean, if we play how we did the other day in terms of the lack of intensity in the second half, I can see it. I can really, really see it, and that would be, I mean, really bad, really, really bad. Jack is saying I do for Jamie's prediction. Yeah, like I said, Jamie's gone 4-0. So Jamie's coming with me. So yeah, it's going to be fun, isn't it? Clark goal scorer for Luton. Yeah, probably. Ben says 3-2. Always believe. I'll tell you what, that would be good because they beat us 3-2 in a league game, didn't they?
I mean, it is under the lights and everything as well.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal scorers. I'm going to go. Kadu and Cole.
I'll go Cole. Yeah, I keep saying Cole, but like he didn't start last game, so I'll go Cole. Yeah, well, yeah, Cole. I've only got one goal for us, didn't I? Yeah, so yeah, Cole. And the thing is, there's something we haven't touched on. I mean, will the lack of crowd maybe benefit the team?
Well, it has in the other games. So
yeah, because it's not as much pressure. Obviously it's still pressure, but like in terms of it's not much.
Yeah, I think some people might just have a change of heart, and then there'll be a bigger crowd than there has been.
Yeah, because you've got to think these type of games as well. Like it's where people bring their kids, so there's probably not really going to be as much ruthlessness as there would be in a league game, for example.
I don't think so, no.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that could be interesting. Galloway's injured apparently. I mean that's big. That's big. Former player, you know what he loves to do, and he's actually been alright for them this year. He scored quite a few goals, for a left back. Luton Town fan is always optimistic. He's got Palmer hat trick.
Yeah, imagine.
Imagine that.
I don't know.
I totally agree, mate. I mean, we said it. That was his last game for us. The last game in this competition, Dad, wasn't it? That cameo, very, very good. So yeah, I was going to do that as well. I was being 5-0. I was being kind. Yeah, fair enough, Jackie. Well, at least you won't have to be out in the cold for this one. Like myself, I had a bit of confidence when we got these tickets. I was like, do you know what? I know it's Plymouth, but yeah, after Saturday, not really, but still be there. Still be doing I'll actually be doing a match action this time. And Mike is going to have to let me know tomorrow. So if not, it will just be me. But yeah, let me know tomorrow. Hopefully he can, because it's always good to have Mike on the channel. A lot of you like his thoughts and things. So yeah, man. Hopefully we're not coming out of that game absolutely deflated. But yeah, we shall see. And then obviously we'll have the Hat Show on Friday. Previewing the Port Vale game. And obviously talking on this game. Just hope it's positive talk about this game, man. I really, really do. Otherwise, it's just going to be shocking. Going into another away game against bottom of the league. You know, with all due respect, they probably not deserve to be bottom. I actually think Rotherham are worse, but I mean, you're not confident in that game. I mean, what's that saying? A team that inevitably down, it's just, it's not good. So hopefully we can get some positivity tomorrow. Hopefully some players are back. Like I say, Walsh, Hakeem, they're like the main two for me that I'd like to see back. And yeah, if anyone else is back, it's a bonus. But yeah, we shall see. Any final things, Dad, about anything you would like to say?
Nah, just is what it is, isn't it? Let's see what happens.
Yep, let's see what happens. Absolutely. So yeah, Jackie says, I do hope I'm wrong. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash your like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. Check everything out from the other day if you haven't already as well. And yeah, like I say, I will be at the game tomorrow, so match reaction for myself. So yeah, hopefully it's positive. Please, Luton, please. And then next Wednesday, Northampton, if we can progress. Come on, let's save the season, right? Because we ain't going up. So yeah, big up to everyone. Smash a like, subscribe, all that. Like I say, follow me across all my socials, subscribe to the Extra channel, and yeah, until tomorrow, I will see you then. My dad will see you guys on Friday. Hopefully, we're talking more positive than today. So, yeah, till then, take care. Peace.